Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk with Sharon. Today, we're speaking with Kevin McNatt, a candidate for Autauga County Sheriff. Mr. McNatt brings to law enforcement more than 22 years of experience at local and state levels. Within the Autauga County Sheriff's Office, his roles include patrol deputy, narcotics sergeant, special operations officer, and night patrol lieutenant. Welcome, Kevin. Welcome. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate you inviting me on.
All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. Share with us your thoughts on what is the biggest challenge facing Autauga County right now, and if elected, what are the first steps you take to tackle them?
Okay, yeah, certainly. So one of the biggest things facing our county, and it's always been the same, has been budgetary issues. Okay, Autauga County is a rural county, and as such, rural counties don't have the tax revenue that some of the bigger counties have, like Montgomery County, Shelby County, etc. Um, Therefore, it's prudent that every dollar of taxpayer money that not just the sheriff's office, but every county service spends should be scrutinized pretty well so that we're getting the biggest bang for our buck.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the the entire county has a smaller budget than the city of Prattville.
Okay.
So as such, to be able to provide safety through the sheriff's office, which the sheriff's office doesn't just patrol the streets and
Right.
stop crime, they're responsible for serving all of the court papers for the district and the circuit court,
Okay.
including the city of Prattville,
All right.
maintaining court security, and they maintain the jail. Um, so I think the biggest hurdle for any sheriff that takes over is working with the budget.
Okay. So, how do you plan to keep up with the county's rapid growth, especially in areas like Prattville, sorry, without losing connection to smaller rural communities?
Right. So, well, Prattville has a city police department.
Okay.
So the city police department handles pretty much all of the law enforcement within the confines of the city limits.
Okay.
Therefore, the deputies don't have to respond to calls there. Now, in my time with the sheriff's office, we would obviously assist them if needed.
Right.
If passing through and we saw something, yes, we could, affect a traffic stop or stop something in progress. But primarily, the deputies should stay out in the county. Being a much smaller agency, it's more prudent for
Right.
them to be out in the areas where the law enforcement needs to be, where the deterrent, so to speak, needs to be. Um, I want the deputies to do like we did back when Sheriff Johnson and Sheriff Sedinger were in,
Right.
where we were encouraged by our sheriffs to go out and deal with the community. Go to the senior citizens centers when they're meeting, stop in
Okay.
just to say hello, put an ear to their voices. You know, if you lose touch with the people,
Right.
don't know what their needs are. Every one of our communities in the county are uniquely different.
Right.
Okay? From Independence to Autaugaville to Pine Level, Jones, every one of them have unique needs and
Mm-hmm.
problems,
Right.
um, and assets at that too. So getting the deputies out there and talking with the people, I hate to use, because it's an overused term in law enforcement,
Right.
community policing.
Right.
But the idea is good.
Right.
Um, I don't know what your needs are in your community if I don't talk to anybody in your community.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
It makes very much sense. I agree. Okay. So this is going to come to my next question is what makes Autauga County unique and what drew you personally to serve this community?
So, two-part question. Um, this county, um, there's a lot of counties actually that are very similar to Autauga County, where
Yeah.
it's a mixture of small cities and then a lot of rural area. Um, Autauga County is kind of a patchwork quilt of people.
Hmm.
Um, there's a lot of diversity in the county, um, and you just don't see really any problems like you do in some of the more major, areas like the Montgomerys and
Yeah.
Birminghams and whatnot, um, people get along here a lot better. Our crime rate, we are blessed that we have a low
Yeah.
crime. Now, granted, with growth, that's always going to change as the exodus of the urban areas like Montgomery City.
Yeah.
People are coming to Prattville, Autauga County, Elmore County, Chilton County,
Yeah.
just to try and get away, especially with the high crime rate.
Yeah.
But with that does come more traffic issues,
Yeah.
um, you know, teenager issues. Teenagers will be teenagers.
Yeah.
During summer vacation, they get bored, and that's when mischief starts.
Right.
So with it does come an influx of not just criminal activity, but just activity in general. So we are we are in a good spot in Autauga County. People do work well hand in hand with the law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
I've been out of the county sheriff's office for about 9 years. I've been at the
Okay.
state. Um, so I can't speak about what happened yesterday or last month,
Right.
but I still live in the county and I still shop in the county, in the city, and I still run into folks that I've met as a deputy.
Okay.
So I try and keep in touch with what's going on, and we are we're a really good county to be in. What drew me here, honestly, was a mass exodus from Montgomery.
Right.
Um, I was living in Montgomery, wasn't very satisfied in the city, and I wanted to get out into the country to have the atmosphere, the air, the clean air, the peace and quiet.
Right.
And Autauga County has a lot of land. I was blessed to find a good piece of property and move my parents up here when they were in their older years.
Oh God.
We had family property, so that way I was there to, just walk across the yard when needed, but they
Right.
still had their anonymity. So my children were raised here, most of them went to school here.
Oh, okay.
Grandchildren now go to school here.
Awesome.
It's a great community to be in.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Now, every community wants to feel both safe and respected.
Mhm.
What's your vision for community policing here in Autauga County?
Well, again, just to reiterate what I said earlier,
Right.
I want to get the deputies, and I'm going to lead by example.
Right.
If the public's goodly enough to elect me as their sheriff, I'm going to choose a chief deputy that can do the day-to-day operations, the business side of an agency, because I do want to get out. I want to, an administration under Kevin McNatt, you might have the sheriff be the person that answered the call when you call 911
Oh,
because I was
wow.
the closest person. Uh,
Okay.
and again, it's back to that ideology of if you lose touch with the people with whom you're serving,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what we're elected to do is we're elected
Right.
to serve the community. If we lose, touch with the people that we're serving, how do we best serve them? We
Exactly.
have to have that communication.
Right.
So you will see a Kevin McNatt agency of Kevin McNatt out on the road.
Oh,
I
wow.
won't be driving one of those, $100,000 vehicles when my deputies are driving 40,000 ones. I plan on driving the same type of vehicles they have.
Okay.
I'm I have experience and education that others do not, but
Right.
that doesn't make me any better of
Right.
a law enforcement officer than the deputy that just came through the academy,
Okay.
right? It just gives me more wherewithal with the knowledge of how to do things.
Awesome. Okay. Now, would you consider citizens review boards or public listening sessions to keep the department transparent and accountable?
I would like more transparency right now. It doesn't appear that there's enough, especially with the things that are going on in the news recently.
Yes.
Um, One of the things that day one I want to change upon taking office
Mm-hmm.
is I want to bring it back to an open door policy.
Okay.
I think that if you're a citizen of this county and you want to address an issue with your sheriff,
Mm-hmm.
providing that they're not in a meeting or out doing something, I mean, if they're there, I think that as a sheriff, as an elected official, it doesn't have to be the sheriff.
Right.
your city councilman, it doesn't matter who,
Right.
county commissioner, if available, you should be able to address them
Right.
and bring not just concerns, but maybe even kudos.
Right.
Hey, I'd like to say what a great job these people did. Or,
Exactly.
hey, they they didn't do such a good job here, but
But
how are we going to work on this to fix it?
right.
Again,
Okay.
it goes back, everything goes back to communication.
Exactly.
You have to be able to talk to people. You have to be able to have an open mind to
Uh,
their issues.
yes.
I've always told my officers, you go out to these calls and the little old lady who a teenager ran through her yard and it put a
Right.
trench in the yard. That may be the only time she's ever had to call law enforcement, and that is the greatest problem she has experienced.
Right.
And she needs to be treated the same as the person who was burglarized or whatever.
Yeah.
Granted, there's other assets that come into play for these things, but her problem to her is the biggest thing that's ever happened to her.
Right.
So, and we need to be there to help her.
Exactly. I agree. How would you handle situations where a deputy violates department policy or public trust?
So, that's a very open-ended question. It would depend upon obviously the severity of the policy or the
Right.
public trust. There's a huge difference between he showed up 2 minutes late and he dog cussed the grandma on the side of the road because she didn't have her insurance card available. I mean, there's obviously varying levels.
Right.
Um, One of my plans is to, on in the first month, address every single SOP, standard operating procedure,
Hmm.
and administrative regulation that's on the books. Um, let's look at them, see what needs to be changed. I know when I was there previously, we had some that were, from like 1980,
Oh, wow.
and they're
Yes.
archaic. I mean, now granted, some of the one that sticks in my mind was how to wear their brass on their collar, and it was a hand drawn, you know,
Oh, wow.
yeah, but not that it was that detrimental. But again, let's address each one. There could be hidden things in each one that
Right.
need to be updated, need to be re-examined. So,
Excuse me. Hmm.
oh no, you're fine.
Okay. Now, how do you plan to bridge gaps between law enforcement and minority communities and make sure everyone feels like represented?
So again, I still think it goes back to communication and um, talking with the community.
Yeah.
So I started my career in Autaugaville, Alabama.
Okay.
Um, I was the school resource officer in the sadly now closed Autaugaville School.
Hmm.
I was the first school resource officer. Now, Autaugaville is, and I'm guessing here, probably about 85 to 90% black to white
Hmm.
community. And back then, it was a town of about 950 population, so not a big town.
Right.
Um, but I made relationships with the people down there, the kids, especially in the school, who now have their own kids. It's a
Right.
beautiful thing. I'll bump into them out at Walmart or Dollar General, and hey, Mr. McNatt, hey, look, I got my baby's playing football.
Right.
We just started JV. Hey man, I'm proud of you.
Right.
Good job. But so I have never personally had a problem. Now, this is probably, people are probably not going to like this out of me. I'm not a native Alabamian.
Okay. That's
I
okay.
grew up in Texas.
Okay.
Um, and I really didn't grow up ever seeing racial issues out there.
Okay.
I never saw them until I came here.
Right.
Um, I think through communication and education, um, talking to one another, we can overcome any of those issues.
Right.
But
I
again, you
agree.
have to be open minded enough to listen. Everybody has a voice. Everybody
Yeah.
has a different problem. Everybody has a different suggestion.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, and doesn't make any of them necessarily wrong. So
That's true.
again, communication. I hope I'm answering your question properly.
Yeah, you are.
Communication, I think it's the key to everything that we do, and not just in law enforcement, just in
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
We can solve a lot of the world's problems if people would just talk.
Communicate.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and genuinely have a conversation, not come in just one sided. Genuinely have a
Right.
conversation, like you and I are having a conversation.
Yeah,
You know, this doesn't. This takes zero effort.
it does.
So,
Okay. Awesome. Now, one of the biggest concerns we hear from residents is drug abuse,
mhm.
especially fentanyl. What's your plan to fight that crisis here locally?
So I was roughly about 7 years on the narcotics unit in Autauga County.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I do have experience and background in fighting the drug war. Fentanyl is something, and let me pause there to tell you currently, I am a supervisory agent with the state of Alabama for the law enforcement side of the Department of Corrections.
Okay.
So, as such, we see all the designer drugs before they hit the streets.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So we had the Flocka and the fentanyl problems before they started to filter out to the communities.
Mm,
Now, granted, recently we have seen a huge decline in the fentanyl. And I firmly believe that I don't have anything statistically to give you as evidence. This is
right.
just off the top of my head. I firmly believe a big part of that is the shutting down of the border.
Okay.
So when they so the cartels do multiple things. They're going to bring in anything that makes them money.
Right.
And of course, illegal things, things that have been banned or made illegal. Go back to the days of prohibition. What happened when they outlawed alcohol? Well,
Right.
boom, here's a criminal organization to supply alcohol.
Right.
Um, so they're already moving criminal things in, whether it be people, human trafficking, which is a huge issue in the United States,
Right.
Alabama as well,
Exactly.
um, or drugs. And the drugs change from time to time. When I was in narcotics, the Mexican drug cartels were mostly manufacturing methamphetamine,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
was coming over. Then China gets involved, and now the cartels are producing fentanyl and
Right.
bringing it over. So what they produce and what they produce in massive amounts tends to change a lot of the drug trends in the United States
Mm-hmm.
because of supply and demand issues. Um, I do truly believe, from what I'm seeing at my full time job, that the shutting down of the border has substantially reduced the fentanyl coming in. Now,
Awesome.
on the county level, which is what you really care about,
Yeah.
um, I'm sorry,
It's okay.
on the county level, um, it really doesn't matter which drug it is, you fight it pretty much the same way, right?
Okay.
So it's a mixture of community involvement. When you have drug dealing in the area, most folks are decent folks and they don't want that in their area.
Yeah.
We, back when I was working it, we received a lot of tips. Hey, I don't want to say who I am, but
Yeah.
if you look at the corner of such and such street and north such and such, during these hours, they're dealing dope out there.
Okay.
So a lot of it comes from, well, a lot. I'd say about a quarter to an eighth comes from citizen call in.
Okay.
Sometimes they come out just from regular calls. As a deputy, you may go out to a call for somebody stole my mail. And while you're there dealing with that, or somebody burglarized my house, they will volunteer. Oh, by the way, and there's some guys down here
Yeah.
that you guys need to look at.
Right.
Having the wherewithal to actually listen.
Exactly.
People will tell you, most folks, and it doesn't matter the type of community it is, want their children, their grandchildren to grow up without fear,
Yeah.
right? Without
Exactly.
problems. And drugs bring fear because what do drugs bring? They bring violence,
Yeah.
they bring burglaries, thievery, they bring sexual assaults. I mean, there's a lot of things that come out of a heavy drug area.
Right.
So whether it's fentanyl, methamphetamine, marijuana, pills, heroin, cocaine, it's all pretty much fought the same way. Now,
Hmm.
for a plan, I would like to see, and I wanted to see this back when I was there, I would like to see a task force
Right.
run by the sheriff with the city. Um, the town of Autaugaville had a police department. Several of them just resigned, but if they have one again, I would include them as well. I
Hmm.
would include state assets
Hmm.
like the ALEA SBI Drug Task Force,
Right.
because the more assets you bring into play, the easier it is.
Right.
Not to mention by having a task force, it also gives you a wider jurisdiction that you
Diction.
can go.
Yeah.
So some of the times we had problems when we were having drug cases is it would trip across the county line or it'd
Yeah.
trip the city or wherever. Next thing you know, you're following a guy that is already on dope, right?
Right.
And he says, "Hey, I'm just going to go down the street." Well, down the street to him might be 25 miles.
Right.
And next thing you know, you're in a neighboring jurisdiction. Now, we had relationships with those other jurisdictions where you could pick up the phone and call and say, "Hey, we just tripped going to make a buy and it happens to be in your area. I'm going to go ahead and do it, but I'm going to need you to adopt the case. I'll testify in your court."
Right.
So having those relationships built, just like with the community, with other law enforcement entities, and having their trust, we you can tackle the drug problem. Now, will you ever end it? No.
I don't
As
think so
long as
either.
there is a want, somebody is going to step up to supply it.
Right.
Didn't work again, back to prohibition. It didn't work for alcohol.
Right.
It's not going to work for drugs. It's not going to work for, banned firearms or Glock switches. If somebody wants it, they will find a way to get it. It's
Right.
how you deal with it and how you proactively try to stop it that counts.
Right.
If you
Okay.
make it difficult on them to commit crimes in your county because your police are looking for crime, not sitting behind a shade tree,
Right.
you know, they're meeting and greeting the people and they're getting out there making contact with folks. That makes it more difficult on the criminal element.
Right.
They like to hide in the shadows, not in the light.
Right.
So if you bring more light to the area,
Yeah.
it makes them want to go somewhere else. It's kind of akin to a hurricane coming.
Yeah.
You don't want it to hit you. You pray it doesn't hit you, but you also really feel bad if it hits somebody else.
Somebody else's.
So,
Exactly.
but that's kind of law enforcement too. We want to deter the crime. They're going to do crime. I just don't want it in my county.
Right.
Now, I don't
Exactly.
hope it for Elmore, Chilton, or anybody else either, but
You're right.
again, I don't want it in mine.
Exactly. Okay, so do you believe in a treatment first approach for nonviolent offenders, or do you feel we need tougher sentencing?
Okay, you got me on one of my soapboxes here.
Okay.
So I feel at the legislative level in the state of Alabama, things need to change.
Yeah.
So I see people in prison for 30, 40, 50 years on their second, third drug offense.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I see somebody who's in for murder 10 years,
Wow.
15 years. So uh, drugs are horrendous. I think we can all agree on that. However, if you are a drug user and doing nothing else other than using drugs, who are you hurting?
Right.
You're hurting yourself, right? I think there needs to be more treatment
Uh,
because you put somebody who's just a drug user, nothing more. We're
right.
not talking violence or anything else. That changes the ball game. But just a drug user into prison, you're doing nothing for them.
Right.
You're not helping that person.
Exactly.
And we're already overcrowded.
Yeah.
I would rather have the empty beds for the people that have taken human life or
Exactly. Yeah.
molested a child, raped a young girl. Those are the ones that need to be there.
Exactly.
Um, you know, there's no perfect treatment for drugs that I have ever seen because just like any other addiction, the person who is doing it has to want to
Want
quit.
to.
They've had to
Exactly.
hit that all-time low
Right.
then a program can help. Now, a court ordered program, they do the, they check off the boxes. You
Okay.
know, if and this is no different than marriage counseling or anything else. If you're told, hey, you have to do XYZ before you stop having to come here, and I'm going to
Right.
say you're good. You're going to do, if especially if you don't like it, you're going to do XYZ as quickly as possible and say, hey,
Right.
look at me, I'm healed. Um,
Right.
the resurgence of people, and it takes a long time for them to get to that level, sadly. But the resurgence of drug usage, when they do quit and get back onto it's terrible. And
Right.
a lot of and I've tried to mentor and I've counseled several, and some have won. God willing, some have won. I since I've started this campaign, I found out about several more because some of them have reached out to me and said, because they're, yeah, hey, look, I'm doing good now. It took me a long time. I know you used to chase me around this county, but I'm doing good now, and I'm
Right.
proud of them. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. Everybody has the ability to change, and if they do change, we should
Right.
respect them for that change. You
Exactly.
know, we've all made mistakes in life. I don't care who we are.
Right.
Every one of us. Some are worse than others, obviously, but every one of us are fallible people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We all have to learn one way or another. Some of us learn quicker, some of
Yeah.
us learn slower. But
Exactly.
they're still human beings, right?
Exactly.
So if they turn it around and they do well for themselves, I mean, give them the kudos. I'm proud of them.
Exactly.
So I hope I answered your question. I tend to ramble a little
Yes.
bit
No, you
when I get
did
when I
good.
get passionate about something.
Yeah, that was a really good answer. Now we heard from deputies across the states about burnout, pay, and recruitment.
Mhm.
What's your plan to make sure Autauga County attracts and keeps good officers?
I think the biggest key is to treat them with respect. Okay. So I worked at the county from 2003 to 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, quite some time. I had many opportunities, um, getting recruited at that, to go to some higher paying jobs. A couple times with the city of Prattville and Montgomery, and then once in Shelby County. I stayed because for lower pay, because I felt that what I was doing mattered, and I felt that my sheriff and my chief thought that it did too.
Uh-huh.
They
Yeah.
respected what I did. They treated me well, even if they could not pay me as well as some of the other jurisdiction.
Right.
They allowed me to go to the training that I wanted to do. They allowed me to bring ideas to them to transform the department.
That was
Um,
great.
I was I was instrumental in some of the training that we were able to bring in. When I first came to the sheriff's office, everything was a handwritten report.
Oh
Well,
wow.
in Loggerville, I had been typing things. It was a archaic program, but we were able to type our reports, and
Mm-hmm.
I brought that to the sheriff's office. And sadly, in our business, a lot of people don't like to evolve. Well, you can't do that. Well, yeah, I can. Well, no, 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 because we've never done it before. Well, just because we've never done something before doesn't mean there isn't a better way.
But wait, right.
I was just telling somebody the other day, you, as a leader, you have to take scrutiny from even your
Yeah.
youngest deputy, right?
Yeah.
The guy that just gets out of the academy may have seen a better way to do things that we, who have been in the industry, well, me now, like 23 years now,
Right.
um, we do start getting the blinders on us where, I'm so used to doing something the same way and it's
Right.
working, but that doesn't mean there's not a better way to do it that can work better,
Right.
right? You have to have your ears open. I was blessed with a really, really good boss a couple of times that
Okay.
they have a way of doing something. You go, hey boss, uh, don't think we should do that. As long as you come with the why and come also with what you think the fix should be,
Right.
good leaders should listen. And if proved that the leader was wrong, the leader should, be humble and say, hey, good job. You just saved us, time or money or
Right.
whatever, and give them kudos. I think that's the key to keeping law enforcement. People don't get into law enforcement to make money.
Right.
I used to joke with people that I left corporate America when I got into law enforcement and took a vow of poverty because it is.
Right.
Um, if you treat folks right and you help them, especially, they got a family problem, really sick kid, hey, take off. We'll cover the shift for you. You take care of your family first,
Oh,
right?
wow. Okay.
Well, when you do that for the deputies, that transcends into the public too, because they see you leading that way. Well, when they're on scene, they're the leader at that moment.
Right.
When the deputy shows up to a scene, he is in charge
Oh,
until
wow.
somebody else comes there, right?
Right.
If I call the deputies out here because I don't know, I don't like my neighbors or something, right?
Hmm.
Well, my neighbors are arguing or whatever. One, the deputy comes here, it's not my property, it's not his property. The deputy's in charge,
Right.
right? So they have a lot of power when they get out there. But if you show them that you can be humble and you can accept other people's opinions, it does transcend into their
Right.
attitudes as well. So again, it's just a by example.
Right. Okay. Now, would you push for a larger sheriff's office budget? How do you ensure deputies are trained in mental health response and de-escalation?
Okay, so part of APOS, which is the Alabama Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission, the
Okay.
people who set the criteria for law enforcement and make sure that we maintain our CEUs.
Okay.
That is part of mandatory now. They're starting to slowly roll it in, thank goodness. But all of my guys, we had to make sure they had. It was through Culture City was the place that put on the training for us.
Okay.
This particular one was more about special needs, but
Yeah.
it goes hand in hand. So, I mean, autism, diverse communities, special needs issues. Yes, sadly, we can't have social workers with every officer in the United States.
Right.
So, officers and deputies are forced by default to have to deal with these problems.
Yeah.
Through training, however, we can help put more tools in their toolbox so that they can assist people that have unique or special needs. Uh,
Okay.
and again, a post is coming around and they've gotten a lot better from back when me and my folks went to the academy. They have added a bunch of extra hours on it. Now we
Okay.
were required to get them, you know, over the years, but now the basic academy cadet gets a lot of these things. So Alabama's a little slow getting places, but we do get there, right?
Okay.
So education is paramount. Now, as far as getting a bigger budget, uh, which was it was kind of a two-part question you gave me there.
Yeah.
Um, I would not commit to anything until I could actually scrutinize what the budget will be.
Right.
I'm very confident that there's some needless and useless spending that
Right.
I can line item out.
Right.
And my hope is that I can get rid of wasteful spending,
Right.
use that money that's already existing in the budget to do the things that are needed. But I can't give you an honest answer there
Right.
without being able to actually scrutinize the budget.
Right. Okay.
But that is on the top priority.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the Autauga County Jail. Mental health care have been long-standing issues. What's your strategy to handle that responsibility?
So when you're talking about the Metro Jail, are you speaking about the fact that it's closed currently?
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, there's a lot of issues there. Um, they are currently working on the Metro Jail. Um, I'm hoping it will be open shortly because there is a lot of issues that go with it. Some of those are the monetary issues of which I've spoke already. Um, we are currently paying other jails to house our inmates. In addition to that, we are also having to transport those inmates all over the state.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and more important, so in addition to the extended costs that the county's incurring while trying to mitigate the issues at the Metro Jail,
Hmm.
we're also putting every single one of those inmates and officers in extra danger by having to transport them.
Oh, wow.
It's not safe to drive, right? So
Right.
anytime I say not safe to drive, that's poor wording. It There's always an extra inherent risk when you hit the roadways,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind that you have an inmate in there, okay?
Hmm.
Be it a felony or misdemeanor, doesn't matter. We are responsible for the safety of that inmate,
Yeah.
okay? So when we are transporting them to Baldwin County, Limestone County, Russell County, doesn't matter. There is an inherent risk that goes along with any inmate transport.
Hmm.
Now, that's just the normal driving that we all do.
Right.
Add to that, if this is a really bad person and they are, say, a high ranking person in a gang,
Oh, wow.
we're giving that gang an extra security ability to potentially break them out.
Oh,
You
wow.
have only 2 to 3 people doing transports.
Right.
That's a security issue. Okay.
Hmm.
God forbid there's a wreck and somebody gets hurt. Again,
Yeah.
county is responsible for all of that. Okay. Um,
Okay.
there are a lot of people that cannot hold it long enough to go from here to say Baldwin County, Mobile, Limestone, wherever. And so therefore you have to stop and give them a restroom break.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
So if you're transporting multiple inmates and it's a half a day or a whole day process because you're hitting jail, 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 jail,
Hmm.
you have to also feed those inmates. Every
Oh,
time you
what?
stop, I mean, because they have civil rights,
Oh,
you
wow.
can't not feed them, right? You can't deny them use of a restroom, right? Now,
Oh,
granted, there are some inmates that will play that up to try and get extra time, but
right.
um, they still have basic civil rights. Okay. So there's this huge risk that goes along with all of these transports. Additionally, I know one of the jails that they were paying to put inmates in turned around and they shut their own jail down for deplorable conditions.
Oh, wow.
So apparently that jail had deplorable conditions and we paid them to house our people until they closed it down in a
Oh,
deplorable
wow.
condition. So, you know, getting the jail fixed as quickly as possible, if for no other reason than the
Hmm.
safety of the inmates,
Right.
should be paramount right now.
Right.
Um, Now, our jail, I don't know if you've ever seen it or not, but our jail is a 4 story building. The first 2 stories is considered one floor. So it's a mezzanine setup, right?
Hmm.
So you have doors, doors, and then you have a staircase go up. So it's 2 stories tall, but open area. Okay.
Okay.
The top 2 floors have never been finished.
Oh, wow.
They're empty. Now, that's not Sheriff Harrell's fault. That's not Sheriff Sedinger's fault. That's not Sheriff Johnson's fault. That was the fault of the commission that was there at that time. Right?
Okay.
They wanted to use that funding elsewhere, is what I heard. Thinking that later on we would do it. Well, every later on incurs a lot of extra money. Cost of building materials goes up, inflation goes up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what would have cost, 1.5 million, and I'm just pulling a number out of my hat
Yeah.
here. Back then, 25 years ago, might be 12, 13 now
Oh,
with
wow.
inflation and cost of materials and whatnot.
Hmm.
Now, to until that is fixed up there and opened up, the mold issue is going to come back. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a heated and air conditioned space above the inmate population. So therefore, you're going to have an issue, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's
Right.
the same in your house. Um, so getting that fixed needs to be also on a top priority. Now, the county cannot afford to do that. I 100% know that.
Right.
But while the federal government's focus right now is ICE and immigration,
Right.
let's see if we can get some federal funding
Exactly.
to finish our jail, allowing them to house those federal people there. I mean, we're not using it anyway right now. right?
Right.
Let, let them house it because they pay better. So that's also going to bring some revenue into the county for
Yeah.
other improvements at the jail. The deputies that work, the jailers that work there,
Right.
for federal inmates have to have a higher level of training
Mm-hmm.
to be able to have the federal inmates. They will pay for that.
Oh,
So therefore, our people are getting better training, and it's really not costing the county but our time to do the training.
right.
It's a win-win-win all the way around, And then once it's we've recouped that, any federal inmates that we hold temporarily while they're in transit, Montgomery City did it. Now Montgomery County does it with their new jail.
Okay.
They pay better for federal inmates, but you do have to fit some criteria first.
Okay.
So get rid of the transports, clean up the jail, finish the jail. Those are the plans.
Okay. Would you support rehabilitation or reentry programs for nonviolent offenders?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's no question. Um, Obviously there would need to, I'm not up on the different programs,
Right.
okay, because my job in the last 9 years has not had that. However, I would like to see some national studies on it, what works, what doesn't work.
Okay.
Maybe have a local focus group on it, made up of professionals, law enforcement, whatnot. Um, Make sure that the program, let's take it back. What works in New York
Yeah.
may not work in Alabama, may not work in Texas, may not work in Minnesota, right?
Right.
So you try and take, just like you do from all the bosses you've ever had. You try and take the good
Good.
that you
Yeah.
have, get rid of the bad, and fill the bad in with something that's more positive and fits for you, right?
Exactly.
So I don't know what program would be the best, but nonviolent offenders, drug offenders, um, special needs offenders,
Yeah.
right? We are not doing anything for them by putting them in prison.
Right.
And sadly, and it's not just Alabama that is the problem here. Uh,
Right.
it's a nationwide issue, but sadly, prison and jail seems to be the fix that everybody wants to do. And
Right.
I'm tired of dealing with this guy. Can you put him in jail, please?
Yeah.
When that may not be what is the end all fix. Is that a
Exactly.
temporary pause button? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Right.
But pause buttons are not fixes.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't have the proper degrees to tell you exactly what the best program is.
Right.
All my bachelor's and my master's degree are all in law enforcement.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
I think some clinical people, psychologists,
Yeah.
social workers, other
Yeah.
law enforcement, criminal justice type people coming together would be a whole lot better than just me making a decision.
Exactly. You're right. Okay. Well, leadership defines everything at the top. How would
Mhm.
you describe your leadership philosophy and what kind of culture do you want to set for your deputies?
So again, we've kind of covered it somewhat, but I'll
Yeah,
reiterate
we
a
did.
little bit. I'm a firm believer in leading by example.
Right.
You want to see how you should act as a deputy.
Right.
Doesn't matter whether you're a lowly deputy at the beginning of your career, up to an investigator, narcotics, SWAT guy, whatever. You need to look at me because I'm going to show you in my actions every single day how I expect you to act every single day. I'm not going to ask you to do something I'm not willing to do myself.
Okay.
And I'm not going to just disappear when the going gets tough.
Right.
I mean, there's a fine line when you get into executive leadership
Yeah.
in law enforcement of you're spending enough time on the day-to-day business side because you have to take government entity like a business.
Exactly.
um, it's just you have to be a good steward of the taxpayer money instead of the business money,
Right.
right?
Right.
um, but it's a fine line between being out there with the troops, showing them, mentoring them. That's a big key. You have to
Yeah.
mentor them. You can correct in a mentoring fashion without having to yell, scream. I see that in law enforcement a lot, especially in the older days. A lot
Yeah.
of screaming, but not telling them how to fix it.
Right.
I can't expect you to fix something if you didn't know it was broken. Right.
Exactly.
And the
I
same goes for
agree.
me too, as a leader. I used to tell my guys when I was the night shift lieutenant, don't tell me it's rainbows and butterflies if it's not.
Right.
Something's wrong. You need to tell me it's wrong. You're not going to hurt my feelings
Right.
because if I don't know that it's wrong or it's broken, I don't have the opportunity to fix it. And if I can't fix it, people can get hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So level with me. I'm a big boy.
Exactly.
I've been called everything but a child of God on the streets. I mean, you're not going to hurt my feelings by telling me I've done or my plan was wrong or whatever. Okay, if
Right.
it's wrong, tell me why it's wrong and give me the fix that you think is going to work. And then
Right.
we'll have a discussion. I'm not so magnanimous that I'm going to, oh, you can't tell me. No, no. That's the worst kind of leader you can have.
Exactly.
Lead by example, mentor those under you, have a heart. I used to tell my guys, best two keys to law enforcement being a good cop is having common sense, which
Yeah.
sadly is not common nowadays.
Right.
And you got to have a heart.
Yeah.
You got to have a heart. You got to be able to have empathy for people.
Exactly.
It may be a silly call to you, but to them, that's the worst thing that ever happened to them.
Right.
Right.
Okay. How would you personally handle an internal misconduct case? Like what makes your leadership style different from past administration?
So when you say an internal misconduct, uh, again, that's a really wide open area.
Right.
Is it he's been showing up late 2 minutes, 3 minutes every day for the last week, or has he done something major that's borderline criminal?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Major borderline
so
criminal
it
would
is
be.
very dependent upon the issue that comes about. Now,
Right.
I'm not going to put up with any officers breaking the law. Okay.
Okay.
While at the state, I was blessed to be put on an FBI and DOJ task force.
Okay.
That task force, what we prosecuted, and our prosecutors came straight out of the Civil Rights Criminal Division out of D.C. They flew
Okay.
down. Was public corruption, dirty officers, and civil rights violations under color of law.
Oh
Okay,
wow.
that's the only things we had handled, which I say is akin to kind of the answer that I think you're looking for.
Yeah.
An internal investigation is a very deep investigation. Now you have two sides of the house. You have what is called a Garrity investigation.
Mm-hmm.
You have a Miranda investigation. Okay,
Okay.
let me break those down for you. Uh, a Garrity investigation is an internal affairs investigation where they do not have the right to an attorney. Okay,
Oh wow.
but nothing they say to that internal investigator can be used in a criminal investigation.
Oh
So
wow.
if I'm the internal investigator and I'm interviewing you for some kind of misconduct,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let's just say it's an affair, right?
Right.
Nothing criminal, but immoral.
Right.
And in the course of that, you say, well, I only had my affair because I was trying to get away from the fact that I threw somebody off of a third-story building.
Right.
Whoa, whoa, I'm out. Well,
Right.
you committed a crime, right?
Right.
I can't even go to the criminal investigator and say, hey, she told me. No,
Oh
I just have to
wow.
say, you might want to look into her. And
Oh
that's
wow.
it. Because anything that I share because you did not have the right to an attorney,
Oh wow.
it's fruit of the poisonous tree, right? It's
Uh-huh.
kind of like eliciting a criminal, uh, you saying that, hey, I did it without having read your Miranda or giving you the opportunity to have a lawyer present, or if you're a juvenile, to have a parent present. Um, I can't use that in a court because I didn't follow the rules.
Oh
So
wow.
there are two sides of that investigation. So I believe that if it is something small, like the first example, showing up late or maybe stealing 15 minutes time, right?
Right.
He clocked out 15 minutes late and didn't tell anybody. I think that should be handled internally.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but if it's something that comes criminal, I think that we should have some type of outside assistance. So
Exactly.
back when I was at the county, if we had a officer involved shooting, the three counties that make up the circuit, the 19th circuit, which is Chilton, Autauga, and Elmore,
Mm-hmm.
if say I was in an officer involved shooting, okay, agent or I'm sorry, investigators from Elmore and Chilton would do my investigation.
Okay.
Okay. And then vice versa. If it was in Elmore, Autauga and
And
Chilton would
ship them
do the
do this.
investigation. So
Okay.
you have that outside hand. You don't have that, hey, we went to the academy. Hey, we worked together. Hey, I've been to your kid's birthday party. No,
Right.
I mean, and it's just so is just as much to prove or disprove. I mean, a good investigation can also exonerate somebody,
Right.
whether it's a citizen, an agent, an officer,
Right.
whatever. But we're not better than anybody, but we have to follow the law better.
Right.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
It
We
makes
make
very much
mistakes
sense.
just like
Exactly.
everybody else. But if I take this oath of office, I'm
Mm-hmm.
swearing an oath before God that
Right.
I'm going to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the state of Alabama and all
Okay.
the laws therein. The my neighbor didn't swear that oath, right?
Right.
But I
Right.
did. So I
Yeah.
have to be better, you know,
Right. Okay.
pay attention better.
Exactly. So, some residents in rural Autauga County say they feel underserved or forgotten. How do you plan to reconnect with them and make sure they're heard?
Again, back to how we started the conversation is as sheriff, I'm going to get out in the community.
Right.
If they're having a community event or a community meeting or something, I want to come. I
Okay.
want them to be able to address me and ask questions
Right.
or gripe. If you have a legitimate gripe about how the office is being run, tell me. Because again, it goes back to the same thing. I can't fix it if I don't know it's broke.
Right.
So the only way I can find out that something is not working properly is for people to tell me. That's why I want an open door policy.
Exactly.
But some people are going to be afraid to come to the sheriff's office to talk and tell you their problem.
Exactly.
That's why I think it's really important that the community groups and the senior centers and the schools um, show up. I live in this county. I live in the community called Independence,
Okay.
which is just between Vida and Autaugaville.
Okay.
So I have my little swath area. Now my wife is from the Pine Level area. So
Oh, okay.
I have ties over there. So we
Right.
go over there to her grandmother's and whatnot. So, but if you get out, you hear the thing. You
Right.
get to talk to people. I run into so many people still remember me, even though I was unshaven as a deputy, or I was
Right.
shaven as a deputy rather. I'm unshaven now, but they still recognize you. And they still want to talk.
Right.
And, just now I can't make those determinations so much for them. Well, you need to call the sheriff's office for that, or you need to call
Right.
the police department for that. Um, but just getting out there is the key thing. Getting
Right.
there, being seen, having the deputies be seen, not just again sitting behind a shade tree and playing on the computer. Get out there and do it. When I was the night shift lieutenant, they thought we were padding our stats because we had four shifts, so it was an A and B, day and night. We worked 12-hour shifts. I
Oh,
was
wow.
B shift night lieutenant. Um, I was accused of padding my statistics. Okay, what do you
Mm.
mean? Well, you have a higher arrest rate, a higher report rate, and a higher business check rate than the other three shifts combined. Why is that? Oh, that's easy because I'm working.
Right.
And because I'm working, they're working.
Right.
I'm not sitting upstairs telling which deputy to go to which call. I'm going to the calls with them.
Right.
We're doing stuff. If they want to have good grace, they have to keep up with me because I'm
Right.
working.
Okay.
Well, I plan on bringing that at every level. I'll be
Awesome.
if I'm elected sheriff, I will be working too.
Okay.
I mean, now I'm going to have to split it, like we said, managing
Yeah.
that time between the budgets and administrative side. Hopefully, a good chief deputy will handle a lot of that administrative side.
Right.
But again, I need to be out there having the pulse of the citizens and the communities to find out what's wrong, so I can move assets to the right locations to help them with their problem. Because again,
Exactly.
what happens in a Togville may not be happening in Pine Level or Jones or Independence, right?
Right.
Vice
Right.
versa, you know.
Okay. So this part of the interview is community questions. So
Okay.
people in the community wanted to ask you some questions. I have Cindy L. of Prattville. She said people often say law enforcement should serve, not scare. How do you plan to make deputies more approachable and less intimidating?
Again, I still believe that's the lead by example. If I'm getting out there and having conversations just like I'm having with you,
Right.
um, they're going to have to keep up with me.
Right.
And as long as we can sit there and have conversations, some people gripe when they see an officer spending 10 minutes at the convenience store. But if he is sitting there and talking to folks as they come in and demystifying that, hey, I'm a cop thing, you
Right.
know, because we're all human. We're all husbands, wives,
Yeah.
fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, whatever. When we're in our profession, we have a different uniform, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're still people. We're still human beings, just like you are.
Okay.
And when you get that human factor going by having a conversation, so he wanted to stop and stretch his legs and have a cup of coffee for 15
Right.
minutes. As long as there's no calls going on, I'm good with that
Right.
because he is spending time in the community.
Right.
And if you feel that, hey, I talked to that guy the other day while I was, buying my gas and he was a nice guy. Now you feel like you can approach him when you do have a problem.
Right.
And that's what, you know, law enforcement has forgotten that they are citizens too.
Right.
You know, we all are.
I
Um,
like that.
it is what it is. We have to work together.
Yeah,
Again,
that's
some of
true.
the best intelligence that law enforcement obtains about criminal activity comes from the citizens. Well, if
Yeah.
they don't feel that they can talk to you, you are missing a big swath of intelligence that
Right.
gives you the opportunity to make the difference. Because that's what we're here to do, make a difference.
Exactly. Okay.
That difference doesn't have to be putting you in jail.
Yes, exactly.
Look, when I was working night shift, and a lot of people are not going to like the sound of this until they hear the end of it, I think. But
Right.
I probably stopped between 400 and 600 cars a month. I
Okay.
only wrote one or two tickets, but I also, by doing that, I had conversations with people.
Right.
So Sharon, if I stopped you for doing, I don't know, 18 miles an hour over the speed limit, and we have a conversation on the side of the road, don't write you a ticket. You trust law enforcement a little more, right?
Right.
But probably for the next 3 to 6 months in that area, you're going to be like, is he here?
Right.
Okay. And you're going to be, I fixed your driving issue by stopping you and having a conversation. Now,
Exactly.
if while having that conversation, I see stolen property, well, there's a different story, right?
Right.
Or
Right.
somebody's banging on your trunk,
Yeah.
hey, maybe I've solved an abduction, but
Exactly.
that I would not have known had I not. So
Stop. Yeah.
I I'm fully for traffic stops. I'm not a huge proponent on writing tickets just because you don't have to get into somebody's pocketbook to change behavior.
Right.
Now, some people you do. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Just like not every kid responds well to a spanking. Not every
Exactly.
kid responds well to grounding, right? Everybody's
Excuse
different.
me.
But again, you're making contact with the people. I solved
Right.
7 burglaries by stopping two guys on a failure to dim.
Oh
Driving
wow.
with the brights on, I flashed mine. They didn't turn theirs off, so I put them on the side of the road.
Right.
Well, I didn't know it at the time, but they had just burglarized 7 places up in Chilton County.
Oh wow.
We had uh, two white males in an old 80s model pickup truck. They didn't smell very well,
Oh
so
wow.
they probably hadn't showered in a while. But
Right.
I made my approach to the vehicle. There was very high dollar chainsaws, weed eaters,
Oh
saws, and
wow.
whatnot in the back. And when I got up to the vehicle, they had 7 long guns in between them on this single cab pickup truck, one of which was a homemade zip gun, right?
Oh wow.
I pulled them out, I handcuffed them. They both have different stories. Um, Nothing's adding up. So I started running all the serial numbers. Nothing came back. Well, I had a reason to arrest them already, so I went ahead and arrested them.
Hmm.
I got off at 6 in the morning. By about 10, 11 o'clock, my phone's blowing up. They wake me up out of a dead sleep. Hey, that vehicle you ran last night, we're getting delayed NCIC hits. So what had happened was I ran the things. NCIC, the nationwide computer, says, okay, this officer ran this. The
Yeah.
next morning, people started reporting things stolen in Chilton County. They take it back, they key it into the computer. All of a sudden, it says, hey, guy in Autauga County ran that last night.
Right.
We solved 7 burglaries
Wow.
off of a traffic stop.
Wow. That was great.
You know how many tickets I wrote?
I mean, zero.
I mean, they
There
did go
was
to
no
jail.
need.
They did go to jail.
Right.
So again, being proactive doesn't necessarily mean you have to treat people poorly,
Right.
right? I mean, I can't tell you how many people have said, "Man, he's the nicest cop. He stopped me,
Excuse
never
me.
wrote me a ticket."
Right.
Well, yeah. Now, can you talk your way into one? Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, but just because I stop somebody doesn't mean I have to write them a
Run
ticket.
ticket. Yeah.
You know,
Okay. All right. Well, Michael E. Marbury, he wants to ask, what's your top priority if given just 1 year's budget? Technology, training, or community outreach?
oh, that's a tough one. Good question, Michael. Um, I'd say I'd have to split it between training and community outreach because they kind of go hand in hand,
Right.
right? Um, if only 1 year's budget, yeah, I'd have to split it between making sure the training is not just to par, because par is just a bar, right?
Yeah.
Need to be above par, right?
Mm.
A more educated uh, law enforcement officer is a better officer, right?
Okay. Right.
And no different than anything else you do. You know, if you get a better education as a doctor, then you're a better doctor. You know, so but again, just like we've talked through this entire interview, community outreach, getting the pulse of the public is primary to what we do as a job. We can't do our job without the public's help.
Right.
So I would have to split it right down the middle on those two. Technology, technology's nice,
Right.
but too many people lean on technology to be their
Nowadays.
fix.
Right.
And technology can go dead tomorrow. I mean, we've all
Exactly.
experienced having a down computer or the network's down and hey, how am I going to do my report that's due in 3 days, you know?
Exactly.
Oh, do you know what a pin is?
Right.
You know, the newer generation, I don't think they do.
Right. Okay. So this next community question we kept from our last episode, and it comes from Eric L. Jones of Marbury. There's concern about racial profiling during traffic stops in rural areas. What specific steps will you take to prevent that and hold deputies accountable if it happens?
All right. So there's zero reason that you should make a traffic stop based on the color of someone's skin.
Right.
Okay. Zero reason. It has to have what is called probable cause. Without probable cause, that stop is illegal, right?
Right.
We have to have probable cause. It's the bar of which we, the foundation of everything we do, probable cause.
Hmm.
Reasonable suspicion first, probable cause for the stop, right? Um, so currently, um, and this is just from what I've seen. I don't have any reports on this, but currently the deputies all have body cameras. Okay. Body cameras are a great form of knowing that people are doing the right thing
Right.
between body cameras and citizen cameras. Um, again, back to education. Everybody needs to know you have to have probable cause. You know,
Right.
that's one of the things I love working about with night shifts because I've been accused of you stopped me because I was black. Okay, it's middle of the night and I see your headlights. I can't tell who's driving your car.
Exactly.
Um, when we stop making race an issue, maybe we can get over it because again, last time I checked, you and I bleed the same color blood,
Exactly.
right?
You're right.
It, I'm A positive. If you're A positive, you can donate me blood, right?
Right.
I mean, even in Caucasian folks, we have different. My wife is way darker than me. I'm pale, as you can see. I mean, thank God for the white sign behind me because it makes me look darker. But my wife
Right.
is much darker than I.
Right.
Does that make her any different? No,
No.
it's just different pigment. So if it if it's determined that somebody is doing that, they won't be working for me,
Okay.
100%. And any civil actions, that'll be on their own.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Um, I will not put up with that.
Right.
I've never done it. I don't expect them to ever do it.
Okay. All right. Well, Josh G of Prattville wants to ask, what makes you the right person to lead when others with similar experience are also running?
Okay, I think I have an easy answer to that,
Okay.
and I'll tell you how I tell people at these events. Um, I worked from with the exception of a small break, I worked from 2003 to 2017 as a deputy in this county. I know all points of this county. I'm the only candidate that worked as a deputy in this county. Of
Oh,
the
wow.
four, I'm the only one. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, a master's degree in justice administration from Faulkner University.
Awesome.
I have done every aspect of working as a deputy, from patrolman to sergeant on the SWAT team and narcotics, which is investigations, and I led a shift. I left because I got recruited to go to the state. Now, at the state, I
Okay.
have probably way more investigative experience than all of them combined because of the amount of cases that we get. I have worked multitude of rapes, homicides,
Mm.
drug cases, contraband interdiction cases. I mean, the prison itself is a small town. Okay.
Hmm.
It just happens to have more fences, right?
Right.
As
Right.
opposed to jurisdictional lines, it has fences.
Right.
So whatever you see in the real world happens there just at a lot greater rate.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
there are stabbings, there are murders, there are, I mean, deaths. I mean, just normal deaths, just like you have in the free world. You know, we have hospice patients, we have everything.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
at the state, I have worked all of those types of cases. Like I said, 2 years on an FBI and DOJ task force doing something I guarantee none of them have ever done because it
Okay.
is so unique. Um, I'm the only one with civil rights experience. Uh, in addition to that, I supervise the Middle District of Alabama, the whole
Oh, wow.
central region for LESD. So
Hmm.
from Mississippi to Georgia, from Bibb to Bullitt County, all of that is mine.
Oh, wow. That's
So
great.
uh,
Oh,
I think if your listeners will compare me, my experience and my training and my education to the other three, that alone, without even talking to me, will tell you that I'm the most qualified.
right.
Now, in addition to that, I feel I'm more down to earth than all of them because I'm going to have a conversation with anybody who wants to have a conversation with me. I'm
Yeah.
not afraid. And if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Well, you can't have an ego in this job, right? Um, that's one of the things I learned in SWAT. You know, if I made a mistake, my buddy needs to tell me I made a mistake, and I need to be humble enough to go, "Hey, you're right. Let me
Right.
fix it so I don't do it again."
Okay.
Okay, you know, and if the whole world would have that attitude and that philosophy, we'd have a much better society everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay. For voters still deciding, what's the core message of your campaign in one sentence?
I'm a conservative, so I believe in family values. I'm proactive, and I plan on being a very good steward of your taxpayer dollars. I plan on spending them wisely to get you, the citizen, the biggest bang for the buck. And so you can have that community, hometown, safe feel that we all moved to the county for.
Awesome. Awesome. And so what's the biggest misconception about Kevin McNatt?
So I guess that would depend on with whom you speak. So I'm sure some of the people that I've thrown in jail or prison would say I'm the worst cretin on the face of the earth.
Mhm.
Um, some of the people that I've actually saved I'm sure would say I'm one of the nicest people on the earth. Um, I try not to focus on what people think or say.
Right.
I'm busy living my life the way I think it's supposed to be lived. I put God first, family. Um, you know, I think that if we all do that, we can make a better place, community together.
Right.
Um, I don't know what the misconceptions of me would be because I don't pay attention to them. I don't dwell on things.
Right.
If you don't like who I am, stick around and just watch because I'm going to do great things regardless, and I will always try and help. So um, I may have put you in prison today, but I'll try and mentor you tomorrow.
Right.
So and I'll pray for you while you're there.
Exactly.
So I don't. I'm not the judge. I'm
Right.
not the jury. I'm the law enforcement officer. If you have a warrant, you have to go to jail.
Right.
That is what it is. Hopefully, we can do it nicely. I'll talk to you. Back when I was a smoker, I haven't smoked for 18 years now.
Oh, wow.
But when I was a smoker, if I arrested somebody and they were a smoker and they were cordial, they were nice, I'd handcuff them in the front, and let them smoke on the way to jail.
Okay.
Now I'm not going to do it now because it's make my car stink. But
Right.
um, just because you have a warrant doesn't mean you're guilty of the crime.
Right.
That just means there was probable cause to get you in front of a judge.
Right.
It's not my place to say whether you're guilty or not.
Okay.
I'm the transport, you know.
Okay.
Um, it save lives, transport them. Um, it's the judge, the jury, and God are the people that are going to rule on you,
Right.
not me. I don't take
Oh,
it personal. I hope they don't.
okay. Right. Okay. And finally, what would success looks like at the end of your first term as sheriff?
Success at the end of the first term. We have a balanced budget. The jail is functioning at full capacity. Um, my deputies have some of the best training and would never leave because they love their job and they love with whom they work for. Not just me as the sheriff, but the citizens in the county as well. Um, I think the sheriff's office, to the employees' side, I think the sheriff's office should be a giant family atmosphere.
Yeah.
Okay. We should all be able to come together for one another because if we can't take care of each other, how are we going to take care of the county? Right.
Yeah. Right.
Um, we should be able to take care of one another with each other. Everybody has problems, family
Right.
problems, whatever, deaths in families, whatever. We should be able to come together to help one another when needed so that we can support the county and the citizens therein. And
Right.
again, if I'm leading by example and the deputies are following that example, then they're leading in the community by example as well. And then the citizens hopefully will follow too. Right.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. So closing remarks. Kevin, thank you for sitting down with us today. Before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to say directly to the people of Autauga County? Maybe something from the heart that sums up your mission.
Well, first and foremost, I would say I would like to earn your vote. Okay. A vote should be earned, not given. It's not a popularity contest. It's not who has the most money. Um, in fact, I'm not going to call them out, but some of the campaigns have a lot of special interest money. And all of our campaign money can be seen at the Secretary of State's office. You can see who donates and who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
All of mine has come from friends, family, and a couple of supporters,
Mm-hmm.
monetarily small. We are grassroots. Why? Because I don't think that to run for public office, you should have to go out and beg people to spend money.
Right.
Now, granted, it does take money to run. It is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. I've never saw myself as a politician, and now when somebody says, "Hey, you're a politician," it kind of turns my stomach a little. That, oh, did he just call me a bad word?
Right.
Um, but I would like to earn your vote. And if you give me the opportunity for the first 4 years, I believe I'll have earned your vote for the second four.
Okay.
I don't plan on doing more than 8 if I get elected, because I think there should be term limits on every single politician. There
Hmm.
needs to be new ideas and new blood and new people to come in.
Right.
Um, you will have my solemn promise that if you give me the first four, I will try for the second four. If you don't think that I deserve it, don't put me back in it. And
Right.
I will not hold it against you in the slightest because I'm eligible to retire
Right.
either
Oh,
way. So
okay.
I would appreciate your vote. I think I will earn it. And I think if you give it to me, I will continue to earn it every single day while I'm in office.
Okay. Awesome. We appreciate your time and your commitment to this community. And to everyone watching, remember local leadership begins with local voices. Make sure on May 19, 2026, yours is heard. I'm Sharon. Thank you for tuning in. Real Talk with Sharon.